Anaerobic training will help improve events with short durations and high intensities, such as a 100-meter sprint or powerlifting. This is because they involve fast and explosive muscle contractions where maximal force is produced. Anaerobic skills are also used throughout a game, such as a football match, as you could perform a fast sprint to either get the ball or return to position. By having better anaerobic fitness, it can help reduce the risks of diseases or conditions such as arthritis, which is the swelling of the joints. One adaptation is in the neuromuscular system. An adaptation of the neuromuscular system is that there is an increase in muscle hypertrophy and hyperplasia. This is because there's an increased muscle cross-section in the muscles, so that will increase the number of muscle fibers that can be recruited. This adaptation to strength training will increase the force that can be produced during muscle contractions. As well as this, they'll be able to recruit more fast glycolytic and fast oxidative muscle fibers. If they're able to recruit more muscle fibers, it will improve the force that they are able to produce. Tendons and ligaments will also improve due to strength training, as it will therefore increase the stability of joints. Another adaptation of the neuromuscular system is that there is a faster impulse down the neural pathways. This will increase the speed that we can react to stimulus from our proprioceptors. One way we can prove that our body has adapted is in the Wingate test. If our body has adapted, then athletes will be able to reach their maximum power quicker, as the muscles are able to react quicker to the speed and what is needed. In addition, they'll also be able to reach a higher peak power. This means that they are able to produce more power when contracting the muscles. One final adaptation is that they will fatigue at a slower rate. This is important as they are able to keep up either the speed or the power that is produced. From this Wingate test, you can see that pre-training, they reach their maximum power within 2 to 3 seconds. However, if they had trained correctly and specifically, they would be able to reach their maximum power within 1 to 2 seconds. You can also see that they can increase their maximum power. And as you can see, fatigue starts to occur after 3 seconds, and there's quite a rapid decrease in the amount of power produced. However, in an ideal world, we would remain fairly level at the same amount of power produced. Energy systems adaptations. During anaerobic activities, the two main dominant energy systems are the phosphocreatine and the anaerobic glycolytic system. ATP-PC system will provide the body with the energy required for the first 10 seconds of activity. This is normally enough to last for events such as a power lift or 100 meters. However, if the event is slightly longer, they'll have to use the anaerobic glycolytic system. But this system will cause fatigue due to the production of lactic acid. This would link to the adaptations of training, as you would aim to increase the amount of PC and ATP, so you can delay the use of the anaerobic glycolytic system, as the lactic acid will start to build up at a later time, so you continue for longer. For example, instead of lasting only 10 seconds, the original stores, you might be able to last 12 or 13 seconds. One other adaptation will be the increase in anaerobic enzyme activity, such as PFK and LDH. This increase will help the anaerobic system to become more efficient at producing energy, as it can break down glycogen quicker. This will be helpful for like a game of football, so they're able to recover using the ATP that they have used. Another way that we can show adaptation has occurred is by either using the graph on the left, which is an OBLA graph, or the graph on the right, which is a blood lactate graph, which was collected from our 20-second Wingate test. If we're talking about the graph on the left, athletes will train to reduce their OBLA, so they will also be able to buffer blood lactate better. This will improve their performance in events such as a 100-meter sprint, so they will not fatigue as early as they would before. This will have a positive impact as their time is likely to decrease, because when fatigue occurs, their muscles aren't able to contract with the same amount of power or force, which will reduce their speed. One way that we can show that the body has adapted is during our Wingate test will be the blood lactate. If adaptation has occurred, we will be able to see that they are able to produce a much higher force. However, it could also be because of the energy system that is being used. For example, as you can see, at rest they had a blood lactate of around 1.8. However, after the 20-second Wingate test, it then increased to around 13.9. However, after training anaerobically for around 12 weeks, we would expect that they will have a much lower lactate score post-event. For example, it could go to around 8 or 9 on the blood lactate. This could be because after training, they have increased the amount of PC or ATP stores in their muscles, and therefore prevent the build-up of blood lactate at an earlier stage. This adaptation would also help in a game of football. This would be because after a short sprint, they won't be as fatigued as they were before. This means that they are more likely to continue with the game or be able to recover after a shorter period of time. However, this wouldn't be important for a longer distance event such as a marathon, as they will not be training or performing at as high intensity where they will build up lactate. This is why they train to reduce their blood lactate. And as you can see from the graph, the whole aim is to shift it to the right, so you're able to work at a higher intensity for a longer period of time before blood lactate will build up. The skeletal system will also adapt to anaerobic training. During anaerobic training, one adaptation that will occur is that bones will become more dense. This is due to an increase in calcium and osteoblasts. This will enable our bones to be much stronger and less likely to be injured, for example, such as breaks or fractures. It will also reduce the chances of developing conditions such as osteoporosis or arthritis. In addition to this, tendons and ligaments will increase in their strength. This increase in strength will also make joints more stable and less likely to dislocate. This will reduce injuries such as overuse. Also, our joints will become more healthy. One way this will occur is that during exercise it helps with the production of synovial fluid, and this synovial fluid will help our joints remain well oiled. This will help remove friction when moving. Because of this, our cartilage that surround the ends of our bones will be less likely to become damaged during movement. However, if we overtrain by doing this, injuries will occur to all parts of our body, such as joints. Tendons and ligaments could become damaged and torn, and bone damage can also occur, such as stress fractures. By improving our skeletal system, it will also improve our range of movement. This is less important for events such as a 100-meter sprint or or a powerlifting event. However, if you are a gymnast and doing short explosive events on a trampoline, this will be important as you will be able to move your body into different positions quicker. By training anaerobically, it can also impact our cardiovascular system and our respiratory system. This isn't as big of an adaptation as training aerobically. For example, we would expect to see a lower heart rate for someone who is trained anaerobically better. When they're trained anaerobically, they'll have a much larger heart volume and blood volume. This is so that when they're recovering for their blood volume, they're able to supply the muscles with oxygen to help them recover Also, they'll have a larger heart volume as their heart will be stronger. In addition to this, the respiratory system will also adapt. For example, they'll have stronger respiratory muscles such as the diaphragm or intercostal muscles. This will help increase the volume in the lungs, and also when they're forced breathing out, it will also decrease the volume much more and increase the pressure by a lot. And similarly, in recovery, it will help reduce the amount of time it takes to recover and also decrease the oxygen deficit.